our client hereby demands a retraction of your press release, in particular paragraphs 2 and 4, in the same manner it was published, within 24 hours of receipt of this letter.
And later on Eyewitness News, National Identification Authority NIA workers to embark on a strike from next Wednesday. We'll be hearing why. And in business,
Chamber of Agribusiness advocates sustainable measures to curb food inflation.
That's in 50 minutes from the Citi Business Desk. Eyewitness News is live across Ghana on a number of affiliate stations around the globe on citinewsroom.com. We are on YouTube and we are on Facebook. Look for the hashtag Eyewitness News and also look for Citi FM and follow the live proceedings here from our studios. If you want to send messages to the show, send it to our WhatsApp number 0539 986 996, 0539 986 996. Alternatively, go on X and tweet at me at Umaru Sanda or at Citi973. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. What's our first story, Fafa?
Well, the High Court in Nalerigu in the northeast region and in Koforidua in the eastern region have temporarily stopped the New Patriotic Party from holding polling station elections in the Bunkrugu and New Jabe North constituencies.
Let's go on the phone lines and speak to the plaintiff in this particular issue, the one in Bunkrugu. The plaintiff's lawyer is Samuel Damta, and he's joined us on the line. Mr. Lawyer, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Umaru Sanda. For point of correction, I'm not Samuel Damta. I'm Solomon Bitian Damta.
Solomon Damta. Apologies. I inadvertently said Samuel. Apologies. Now, first of all, you went to Nalerigu because that's where the High Court is, but the case has to do with Bunkrugu election.
Yes, please.
What briefing did your client give you, for which reason you went to injunct or have the court injunct the election scheduled for tomorrow?
The briefing my client gave me had to do with denial of their right to participate in the impending election. And for the reasons given, it was clear that they had a very urgent course of action, and that if the court did not intervene, they were likely to suffer irreparable damage, which was not going to be compensated by money. And in the interest of justice, and as required by the court to act in certain matters, the court granted an interim injunction on the polling stations elections by the New Patriotic Party in the Bunkrugu constituency of the Northeast region.
How many people were you representing when you went to court?
Omaru, for the writ that was filed on the 7th of May 2026, we were representing 17 plaintiffs in the matter. But immediately after the court granted the injunction, I was also briefed on over 50 disqualified applicants again on similar grounds as those that we proceeded to court. And we will be amending our writ in the course of time to be filed on Monday to include all those other plaintiffs for the reasons given by them, and that their case, they have been unjustly denied the opportunity to participate in the polling station election, and they have not been heard that the rules and regulations which they call guidelines are issued by the New Patriotic Party for the conduct of the election. And so there are elements of breach of natural justice, elements of abuse of discretionary powers. People have been accused without basis. You are told of someone has petitioned against you. You would not be informed of the person who has petitioned against you. You would not be shown the petition. All of a sudden, you would see that your name is out. And the results were supposed to be released timely for people to pursue the internal resolution mechanism, the internal dispute resolution mechanism. As I talk to you, there are several electoral areas polling station results that have not yet been released. And of course, we have no remedy than to run to the court for an interim injunction to preserve the status quo and the subject matter of litigation.
Prior to going to court, did the parties, either represented by yourself or on their own, seek to understand from the political party NPP why what happened? Perhaps that could have prevented this injunction, which will be throwing the electoral calendar for the party off gear?
If I get you clear, you mean whether my clients have resorted to the New Patriotic Party to understand the reasons for their disqualification?
Yes, yes, please.
That should have been a response to their petition. And per the guidelines issued by the New Patriotic Party, they were supposed to be notified of their results within 48 hours. After notification, they had 3rd and 2nd May of 2026 to appeal to the Constituency Election Committee concerning any disagreement or dispute that they have. Then from there, if they were still dissatisfied with the decision of the Constituency Executive Committee, they will then appeal further to the Regional Executive Committee. As I speak to you today, is 8th May. They filed their petition, some filed their petition somewhere 26th, 27th of April, but they have not been heard. And the Northeast Regional Secretariat issued circular reminding them of the various petitions that have been filed, and they needed updates on it. This was not done, and they were left with no option. The purpose of interim injunction is to run to the court for safety and preserve the status quo, and that was exactly what they did. Because if they were relying on the internal dispute resolution mechanism for which the time period have elapsed with no information to show, then they were definitely going to suffer loss without a remedy. Because the elections per the guidelines are due to take effect on the 9th to 15th of May 2026. That's next Monday or Saturday or Sunday.
This injunction you've been given should be what, for 11 days?
No, it's for 10 days.
For 10 days. Yes, for 10 days. Interim injunction. Now,
exactly.
So what happens next? Do you have to deal with the party, or you wait for the party to get back and say, well, we have seen the injunction, we'll act on it to prevent another injunction?
Oh, the order is this. We have gone for interim injunction. Remember, we went ex parte. The agency of the situation requires ex parte. Is that to stop them from conducting the elections as previously scheduled? But what I would say is this. This is an internal matter. Nobody has interest in litigating in court. They are all family members. But justice must be done and be used. Get justice for our clients. It's a closed society, and no one expects everyone to qualify. But we are saying that give them the opportunity to be heard, and let them see those who are accusing them. And if that is done, no one will run to court. You see, these injustices have been happening for a long time now. And if we allow that, it affects the integrity and transparency of the elections. And this has been happening. And so for us, if it is resolved within the 10 days, we don't have a problem. If my clients, including those who are yet to file the writ in the amendment, if they are given the justice by allowing them to contest Omaru, I assure you, this is a whole matter. It will be resolved peacefully. No one is interested in it.
Very well. Thank you. Thank you so much. But do you not worry that your clients may be dismissed for anti-party activities by taking the party?
New Patriotic Party is one of the most litigant organizations in this country. They have litigated across the length and breadth of this country, including MPP and Attorney General 31st December case. They challenge even the very foundation of this country in constitutional and all matters. Why should that kind of organization disqualify people for challenging them in court? It should be a welcome news.
Okay.
It should be a welcome news to them. Or do they prefer that on the day of the elections, my clients should resort to violence? That shouldn't be the case.
All right.
So they are part of the organization. They've taken the right step, and I do not see any victimization in it. What I should add is this: the order of the court must be respected, and we are on the lookout for those who will breach the order, and we will cite them for contempt immediately. Thank you.
Thank you for speaking to us. That's Solomon Danta. He's the lawyer for the plaintiffs of the New Patriot, or plaintiffs who are members of the New Patriotic Party, who have gone to ensure that the court freezes tomorrow's election scheduled for the Bunkpurugu constituency. Let's come down south and go eastwards to the Eastern Regional Capital, the northern part of that town, Koforidua. Now, the constituency is called New Jabe North. Eyewitness is one of the petitioners, or is he the only petitioner in that injunction that was again secured there too? Mr. Eyewitness, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you very much.
Are you the only petitioner, or you are a whole lot of petitioners? About how many?
We are almost 97. I would say petitioners or people that we have decided to reject our forms.
And you went to the High Court, Koforidua, I believe.
Yeah, today.
What is your story?
I would say our cases. This is unlawful refusal to accept nomination forms. Our aggrieved members decided to pick forms. They phoned, and when it was time for them to file it, they duly submitted the file to one Mr. Philip and another man, Watson. These two people were appointed to sell and receive nomination forms. So we submitted our form to these two people who are committee members. They are in charge of, Oyoko. When the form was submitted to them, after forwarding it to the constituency level, we got to know that the chairman decided to reject those 97 file forms. We wrote a petition to the constituency, to the region.
Hello, sir. Hello. Can you hear me, sir? I'm having a difficulty hearing Mr. Eyewitness, who is a petitioner, a member of the New Patriotic Party in the New Jabe North constituency. But let me also say that there's another injunction that has been secured as well in another case, and this one happened in the, so this is the central region. Let me just read. I've just cited the injunction that has been secured by the plaintiffs in this matter. Yemano Nyako and 14 others are the plaintiffs from Achim Swedro. They also went to the High Court, Achim-Odan Eastern Region. Also on this same election day, they are suing Dominic Phoebe of the NPP, Achim Swedro, and two others. Is an order for interlocutory injunction and is being granted by Justice Christina Eya Donko and Justice of the High Court. It says, upon a careful perusal of the motion ex parte for interlocutory injunction of Theophilus Jimegan Jr. Esquire, counsel for the plaintiffs and applicants, filed on the 7th of May 2026, together with the affidavit in support and exhibits herein, and upon listening to Theophilus Jimegan Jr. Esquire, counsel for plaintiffs and applicants herein, the application is granted as prayed. It is hereby ordered that the defendants, their agents, assigns, previous, or anyone claiming through them are restrained from proceeding with the conduct of the polling station elections for the Achim Swedro constituency scheduled for Sunday, 10th May 2026, and holding any related internal elections, declaring any results thereof in the same constituency pending the determination of this suit. It is further ordered that this order is for a period of 10 days, given under my hand, and signed by the Chief Registrar, George Benson Aweme. So a lawyer by name Theophilus Jimegan Jr., representing some members of the New Patriotic Party, also in the Achimswedu constituency have secured another injunction. So that would be 3, 1 in Bunkpurugu, 1 in Achimswedu, and then 1 in the New Joburg North. Let me go back on the phone. I think I have you, Boatin, back. Mr. Boatin.
Hello.
How were you disqualified, or how did your name get removed from the register? When did this come to your attention, and what efforts did you make, or what steps did you take to rectify that? For which reason you still had to go to court?
It's not like our name has been taken off from the register, but when we were about submitting the forms, it was there that the committee chairman, the regional representative, Honorable former MP, Honorable Nana Ajnibuakin, told us that he cannot accept these forms. And for that matter, he took the form, placed it in an envelope, and decided and told us that he has rejected the forms. But the forms were duly submitted on time to the committee. Now, we don't know the reason why they are saying that we will not accept our petition. We wrote our petition to them, the region, to the constituency. They have never invited we, the petitioner. And we don't know anything about it. Whether they have accepted it or they have not. And we have also heard that on the coming Saturday and Sunday, we are going to vote. So we decided today to seek court in that, so that our grievances or our case will be addressed. And we have also followed due process. The party gave out guidelines. We have followed it. We wrote to the constituency, we wrote to the region, and we took it to national. So we are only waiting to hear something from them. Only to be told that the election is coming up and our form has been not rejected. That is why today we went to court to place an injunction on.
Why do you think
the election?
Why do you think you are qualified to vote, and why does the party think you are not?
Yeah, we are qualified on the grounds that about 2 months ago, when you look at the MPP program, they told grassroots members to go and register their names. They went there with their party cards, with their voters' ID cards to do the registration. Then, the next phase was to select 3 station executives. Their names are in the album, which qualifies them to take a nomination form. They did it, they filled it, they submitted it, only to hear from the committee chairman that they bought the forms from the constituency office. They were supposed to buy the forms from Oyoko. But according to the guidelines, 3 places were given. Whether you buy the forms online, constituency office, or the committee. So some of them decided the first day people were waiting to get the forms. They didn't bring it out. So that day, a lot of them decided to move to the constituency office to take the forms. They did it. They filed their forms to their committee member who was stationed in Oyoko, one Honorable Philippe Yabua. He took the forms. Upon submitting the forms to the constituency level, where the regional representative, Honorable former MP, Honorable Nana Ajnibuakin, decided to reject the forms with no grounds, saying that, 1, they are late, the committee member is late. if you appoint a committee member to be in one zone, and the committee member, let's suppose, decide not to take this agreed member's calls on time, why should that polling station officer suffer for you appointing a committee member and the committee member refusing to perform his duties? And also, when we look at the NPP guidelines, they did not give time and specifics. They only gave dates, 25th, 24th. So, if you give date 24th, it's 24 hours. And if the committee member submits it around 8 o'clock or 10 o'clock, you, the regional chairman, cannot punish the grassroots member, because that grassroots member didn't appoint that your committee member to be there. So we see some unjust play that they just want to they just want to think, or they just want to punish these agreed members.
Okay.
That is why we are in court.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. Do stay tuned in, because we'll be speaking to the party to hear what the decision would be on this your matter.
Thank you very much.
That's Yabuat, and is a petitioner in the New Joburg North NPP parliamentary polling station elections. Let's speak to Evans Nimaku. He's Director of Elections for the New Patriotic Party. Mr. Nimaku, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you for having me.
So your polling station election is scheduled for this weekend. 3 constituencies have had their elections injuncted: Bunkurugu, Achim Swedru, and then New Joburg North. Has this come to the attention of the party?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, please come again.
Has it come to your attention that the elections in 3 of the constituencies for this weekend's party internal elections have been injuncted?
Well, thank you. If you look at the program lineup for the conduct of this internal election, starting polling station is supposed to start from 10th and will end on 16th. So that's about it. As we speak, I'm not aware of any injunction from any constituency. You know what the party did was to put together a polling station elections committee, a 3-member committee which comprises of senior party members who are known in the constituency to assist in the conduct of the polling station elections. They were mandated to conduct maximum 25 polling station elections. And so when you take a constituency that has, for instance, 100 polling stations, you are going to have 4 polling station elections committee. And this committee has the mandate to sell nomination forms, receive the forms, conduct vetting, publish names of those who have been successful, publish to the general party members in the constituency the date and venue for the conduct of the primaries, which is between 10th and 16th. And this has been well communicated to all party members. And you see, if you take the party's constitution, when it comes to the conduct of the polling station, it says the constituency executive will have the right to conduct the exercise, supervised by the regional executive committee. The Article 18 of the party constitution allows the party to fashion out rules and regulations to support the conduct of the internal elections and other programs. So if you look at the guidelines that were issued by the party, it says also that the national party will have the supervisory role to ensure that there's full compliance. Let me also add that yesterday, when the national chairman acting call for National Executive Committee and National Council meeting. Council advised that the regional party has the responsibility to ensure that, in all fairness, issues are resolved at the base. So this is where we are. And I think that if you all ensure compliance, we are going to experience a very peaceful and successful polling station elections.
Okay, so you may agree that issues be dealt with at the base, but that does not prevent members who are aggrieved from going to the court of law, courts of the land, to protect their rights, especially when they notice that
people have their rights.
Yes.
But the party also has internal mechanisms of resolving issues. So you will not be stopped from pursuing arrangement to ensure that your rights are not trampled upon.
Yes, but now the court...
But as a member of the party...
Yes, but now the court has prevented you from holding the election in these three constituencies. You can't do anything about that, can you?
Please, we have 276 constituencies across the country. This polling station elections is taking place in 40,648 polling stations across the country. If an individual elect to go to court, the party will have to be served. And at this point, I'm happy you are not a bailiff. I'm not sure where you
I would have hunted you down.
Please.
I know your base on Friday night, so I'll just come and serve it on you then.
So we meet over, my brother. But on a very more serious note, as the party is urging all, that is why when the directive was given for the polling station elections committee to be constituted, if you look at the guidelines, it says senior party members, people who have served in the party, in government, who knows how this party is run, might be those who must serve at this stage. But you see, my brother, when issues of this nature comes up, it is important that we tread cautiously and listen to the other side. People are entitled to pursue their rights, but as a party, the guidelines we give is what guide every arrangement we put together. If you feel offended by any action of any individual, what is expected of you is to use the right forum and ensure that your rights are protected.
Are you suggesting that the party has not been served in all the three constituencies where injunctions have been secured, and to the extent that you have not been served, you are planning to proceed as scheduled?
If you want to be aware, you know. If you want to serve the party, cause it might go to, those who know must know. That you cannot just drop a suit on anybody and say you serve the party. The party has the chairman and the general secretary. So if anybody is running around, internal election, I expect that our internal mechanism of resolving issues will be put in place, and it's in place.
Yeah,
that is why,
Mr. Nukob, the point is that we have gone past that internal matter. Now we are dealing with an external issue where the court has said do not hold the election. I want to know whether or not you as a party...
I have not been served, and even if a bailiff give me a suit, it will be wrong service. So they should do what they have to do. But I'm saying that internal elections, we have mechanisms of resolving internal challenges.
Okay. What happens to those people who had their lawyers file this case in court for them? Those in Bongpurugu, those in New Joaben North, and those in Achim Swedro. It sounds like you are giving them a subtle threat.
Also, if you look at the history of running the party, conduct of internal elections, and people who have elected not to pursue their concerns internally. Yes, the court has always given an advice, and it's go to your party and get it resolved. You can check from all constituencies that one or the other, some people found themselves in court, and the decision of the court. So please.
Except that in this case, the court has not advised; it has instructed that you don't go ahead with the election. You have said you have not been served. At least you have not been served. My question is, for those who decided to go to court, whether or not they exhausted the internal channels, what happens to them? Based on,
New Patriotic Party is a law-abiding institution, so we will yield to the when we say the rule of law, we want it to play out. We will not disobey the court. So please.
But after that, you sack them from the party, or?
Oh no, please! Don't be too judgmental.
Oh no, I'm just.
It cannot lie in my mouth. It cannot.
But it's going to court against the party. One of the grounds for dismissal.
Issues must be looked into in its own merit. So I'll plead that the regional party should take up the responsibility and ensure that the rules of the game are complied with. And stakeholders must also respect the guidelines as issued by the National Executive Committee through the General Secretary.
Thank you. Let's leave it here. That's Evans Nimakun. He's Director of Elections for the New Patriotic Party. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Your attention, please. Flight C8 has been delayed.
Again. Madam, can you please point me to the water fountain? And please watch my back and phone whilst I'm gone.
You can be a traveler with infinite worries.
Hello, Mr. Anand. Your lounge access is ready and your seat is warm.
Or you can be a traveler with infinite privileges.
Champagne, sir?
The region or the drink.
Choose EcoBank's infinite privileges with an EcoBank Visa Infinite card. Access airport lounges worldwide, fast-track services, best-in-class daily limits, and enjoy other exclusive travel and lifestyle benefits. Infinite privileges await. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Je m'appelle.
Je m'appelle.
Je m'appelle.
Mappe. Et mappe. French, you dear. This is a midi croissant.
Meet a Jam. She makes sobolo in a small shop in Kaswa. She's going places with MTN Ejumapa. Now, she's learning French kakra to teach her francophone customers indigenous recipes.
Watashi no namae wa?
Watashi no na my boy.
Whoa. She's learning Japanese too? Watashi. What? If you're a woman with a small business, join MTN at Jumapa today by dialing *5060# and enjoy 150 megabytes data, a lifestyle bundle for social media, free MTN to MTN calls every Monday, and an insurance cover. You will also gain access to expert training, discounts on digital tools, and financial support to grow the business of your dreams. Terms and conditions apply. MTN.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Let's talk about health now, shall we, Fafa? Give us a story.
Well, the contractor for the Wejagbawe Children's Hospital project is threatening to sue the Ministry of Health with allegations of procurement irregularities. The Ministry of Health had alleged that medical equipment prices at the facility were inflated by up to 11 times their actual cost. However, Co-Construction Limited has dismissed the claims as unfounded and baseless, accusing the ministry of damaging its reputation. Here are excerpts of the statements read by Citi News' Charles Osukumi.
Despite the ministry's inability to meet its financial obligations, our clients received a team from the ministry, including officials of the Ghana Health Service, at the facility on March 27, 2026, as part of the ongoing process leading to open the facility. During the meeting, your team proposed to communicate a proposed date for the end users to take over and occupy the facility but our client has yet to receive it. Our client therefore finds your publication an attempt to divert public attention from the ministry's inaction and the real issues which have delayed the operationalization of the completed hospital. The inaccuracies and misrepresentations in your press release are just as disconcerting and baffling as they have the tendency to damage our client's reputation and adversely affect his business. In direct response, our client hereby demands a retraction of your press release, in particular paragraphs 2 and 4, in the same manner it was published, within 24 hours of receipt of this letter. We are under strict instructions to pursue all legal remedies available to our client should you fail to comply.
Those are excerpts of the statement released by contractors of the Wejagba Hospital, Aweko Construction Limited, and read by Charles Osukumi.
Tony Goodman speaks for the Ministry of Health. He's joined us on the line. Tony, welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you.
The contractor is saying that what you published was inaccurate and that you know why the hospital is not being operational, and you are saying something else and asking you to retract and apologize. Will you?
Thank you. What are we apologizing about? Is it, and what are we retracting? Is it the fact we put out there after the orchestrated demonstration, or which one? And I hear they refer to paragraph 2 and 4. We just state the fact. It is true that the World Bank has stated that there were some procurement amounting to the loss of about 3.8 million. That equipment bought were higher, between 3 to 11 times the market value. These are facts we've put out there after that incident at the hospital. So I don't know what they want, but these are facts and we still stand by it.
So the hospital is owned by the government, but the contractor has not handed it over to the government yet. Is that the case?
That's correct.
And the reason that they are not handing it over to you, you are saying, is because of procurement issues, but they are saying that that is not the issue. Have you understood what their challenge would be, which challenge they claim you know about but are not being forthcoming?
No, we engaged them earlier. You see, our statements, both statements, the one issued in 2025, 13th December, and then this particular one, are clear. And we've not stated any different facts from what we stated earlier. The truth still stands. The truth is that we wanted to commission this facility, but were met with this information from the World Bank stating that they were not going to pay any additional money, and that the equipment procured were between 3 to 11 times the market price, and that they do not understand. There are documents going around, and you can see clearly what the World Bank stated. So these are facts. These are facts. And it's proper we put these facts out there.
So the contractor saying that you consistently ignored official correspondence regarding the outstanding debts, that it leads to funding challenges, is really the problem, that you are neglecting that part. How do you respond to that?
The funding is between us, the Ministry of Finance, and then the contractor. There is a funding agreement which is separate from the main contract. And in that funding agreement, you would have to work, submit your document to the World Bank. They go through proper auditing. If they find it worthy of payment, they do. If they find out that the monies submitted were not proper and that they have some breaches, they would have to raise questions. So this is what has happened in this matter.
Okay.
We have engaged them. We've engaged the World Bank, engaged the contractor, and for us, what we have said is that the hospital is what we want. We were beneficiaries. We want to resolve this matter and then take full control of that facility and get Ghanaians to benefit from it. So that is what we are doing. That is why the World Bank has I've been in this country for some time now. We've had several meetings to resolve this matter. So we have done what we have to do because we know that it's important to have this facility for the children of Ghana.
Let's talk about what they describe as your inaction. They say that they warned you in the past that sensitive medical equipment that has been installed at the hospital would be damaged unless there's a permanent UPS or AVRs situated or purchased and plugged into the system. They say you have refused to get that done. And so if they leave the project as is, they put a temporary UPS and AVR there. They need to remove that, and you need to buy a permanent one. You are not doing that, so you are engaging in diversionary tactics.
Which is the diversionary tactics here?
They are not dealing with what you are supposed to do.
Is it true that the World Bank has said they won't pay? Is it true that as a result the contractor said he was not going to allow us to use the facility? So there is no diversionary tactics here. And the funding is a World Bank fund, and then they have stated what they want to do. We are trying to find another source to remedy the situation. So that is what we are doing.
All right. So we do not know as of now when the hospital will be operational.
No, I have said that for us we are ready. Within this month, we are ready to operationalize the facility. All things being equal.
The plan to go to court, you are not perturbed. It sounds like that.
Court. If you go to court for an institution stating facts, maybe you have your reason to go to the court, but not because of the facts we've put out there. When the people went there to demonstrate, Ghana asked, what is the reason? Why are you not operating a facility? And quickly, we came out to state the fact. And you want to just come and use these means to do what? What's your inaction or what? You are not perturbed. The truth is that there is nothing wrong with you going to court. It is good to go to court.
All right. Thank you for speaking to us.
Thank you.
That's Tony Goodman. He speaks for the Ministry of Health. Talking about health matters, 2 days ago, Professor Jimambedu Akosa chaired a committee, and released a report of a committee which he chaired having to do with the death of a man who was taken to 3 hospitals, and due to negligence, that person died. I'm referring to Charles Hemisa. Now, 4 doctors and some nurses were mentioned and were referred for punitive action to be taken against them. The Ghana Medical Association, the doctors, have said they did not find that amusing at all. Yesterday they spoke to us and said they didn't like the fact that the names of their members were publicized, especially those who were said to be complicit in what happened. The nurses are also saying something similar. Philemon Japon is Deputy PRO of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association. You're welcome to Eyewitness News, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Omaro, and thank you for having me.
What specific challenge does your association have with the publication of that report 2 days ago?
All right, thank you very much for this opportunity to speak to the issue. I think that the publication was more centered on the caregivers. Some of the flaws or some of the, expectations from the caregivers. However, we expected that the report captured clear issues about the bed situation, the bed occupancy and the bed situation, the staffing situation. The inadequate staff at the emergency units, the limited infrastructure when it comes to the emergency setup, the delays associated with creating space for referral or having even referral, lack of equipment, overwhelming patients' loads in the emergency units. Sometimes when you go to the accident emergency unit, you see cars, ambulances that are lined up waiting to offload patients who have been referred from different facilities or have been picked from accident sites because the place is practically choked or busy. So we need to look at the thing holistically instead of having centered the whole blame or the whole issue to the the staff or the how do you call it, the healthcare professionals.
Okay, now you are concerned about protecting your members, but there's another concern about the fact that those members who have been named have a hand, even though, of course, that will be subject to some other litigation. But this committee at least believes that your members, if they had played their roles professionally, the gentleman we're talking about would not have died. Have you thought about that?
Omaru, healthcare workers must be accountable to their patients. Of course, we owe our clients a duty of care, for which, if there is a breach, there are liabilities to it. So we are not going to say our members are not blamable in situations where lives are lost or in situations where there is maybe palpable negligence of assault. I want us to look at the thing holistically. The nation must also address the structural weaknesses that continue to place healthcare workers and patients at risk. This tragedy serves as a wake-up call to all of us. There should be an urgent assessment of our emergency sector. If you look at what happened, they said the emergency ambulance, that's the emergency team or the ambulance team that take the patient from the accident scene to these facilities were just mere carriers. Have we looked at critically what happens in the ambulance whilst patients are being transferred? Can we have critical staff like nurses and midwives with some level of experience or training in these ambulances to render care whilst we even go to the hospital or whilst waiting to be given care at the facility? Have we looked at that? Have we looked at situations where there is burnout, practical burnout in the healthcare, in the emergency sector? Look, I worked at an emergency area for years, and sometimes when you go to work, you have to stand your feet throughout the night, throughout the whole period, seeing emergency after emergency, case after case,
right,
especially with these bigger facilities. When something goes wrong, you are blamable. But when you do everything right, there is no pat on the back or there is no congratulations.
No, that part comes in your salary and your allowances that are given you. And again, the fact that you have not been celebrated does not mean you should not be condemned.
Look, if you look at climate change, if you look at the changes in the dynamics, when there is flood, when there was Ebola outbreak, when there was COVID outbreak, when there is cholera outbreak, when there are any of these significant health crises, the healthcare is fully challenged. There are not enough motivation in terms of conditions of service. We are not even talking about conditions of service here. Practically, things to work with, practically, the number of people to work at the emergency units is not there. Much to any of the emergency units. And look at the number of staff per the patients that they are supposed to care for. For which we are saying we shouldn't turn patients away. Of course, I don't want my brother to be turned away. I don't want any Ghanaian to be turned away. We should continue to care for people at all times, but it shouldn't be at the expense of our lives. If the next patients on the floor, we are subjecting their backs to a lot of injuries, different sprains, and even in errors. When patients are next on the floor, the tendency for infections, the tendency for errors, the tendency for complicating their matter is all there. So let's look at the thing holistically rather than pushing the whole thing on the client, on the staff.
Very well.
Performance.
Thank you. Thank you so much for speaking to us. That's Philemon Japon. He is Deputy PRO of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are in the month of May, and in the month of May, we celebrate mothers. On Sunday, we'll be celebrating Mother's Day. And here at Citi FM and Channel 1 Television, we have a special event known as an episode with Mama that we have done today to honor our mothers. And because of that, I've dragged in two people who you would usually not hear on Eyewitness News. For those who are listening, you may not see the person I'm going to introduce, but she has red hair. She's called Apioko Seram Abe Ashong. and she's our head of programs for television. Apioko, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Maru.
And she came with her lieutenant, another, okay, let me not say what I was going to say. Magdalene Wepia is with the programs department and events as well. You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
So today we did, Mama's Day is on Sunday, or Mother's Day is on Sunday.
Yes, it is.
But we did something big today.
We did.
Before we even did what we did today, what was the build-up? Because I know there were lots of activities we did on air ahead of this.
Of course. So we're running an on-air promotion, a radio promotion, to be precise. And we called it an episode with Mama. What does that mean? So we're saying that, just playing on media jargon, when you think of an episode, you think of a show, right? Or some kind of experience that you're having in a space of time, engaging with some kind of content. And so we asked our listeners to just think about a time, an episode with Mama in their lives.
One-off time.
Just one time. And it could have been based on anything. Could have been a very fun, exciting moment where I keep using the example that maybe you're in the kitchen cooking with Mama, and then she tells you that the way you're cutting the tomatoes, Charlie,
you're not doing it well.
Dabi. Kind of thing.
So something memorable.
Exactly.
That happened,
or it could be a sacrifice that you feel Mama made, and that one sacrifice in that one moment has changed the course of your life. It could be something that you did, and you know that it was bad. You shouldn't have done it. But Mama forgave you, and you can't even understand why she did. And that has never left your conscience. And so we just ask people to open up, be very vulnerable with us, and trust us with their stories. And my, oh my.
Stories came
What?
from.
I'm telling you.
So how did the stories, did we ask people to send letters like we do with the literacy challenge, or we asked people to send messages on WhatsApp?
This was not academic, no.
Okay.
But we asked people to send messages on WhatsApp. And we didn't really give a word limit, but what we did say is don't write a thesis, and don't bring us a whole memoir, but make it compelling. And you want to do maybe between 100 and 200 words so that you have enough meat to really bring out the emotion that you want to pour into whatever you're submitting.
So they were sending to specific programs here on the...
So we have a WhatsApp line that we use. So the same WhatsApp line, you're 0539 9869. We didn't want to complicate it.
Okay, so just send a message there.
When you're doing things like this, you don't want to overburden people. Just because I want to celebrate you, I'm giving you pressure. No. And people already know this line. So that's the line we stuck to. And I think that also made it easier for people to engage.
Magdalene, what kind of messages came through? Which ones stood out for you the most? And what was the selection criteria?
A lot went into it. Like Api said, we were looking for that specific moment that cannot leave your mind or your memory and all of that. One that really stood out was there's this guy called Bernard whose mother drank poison on his behalf.
Oh, wow.
And he hasn't forgotten. It's been so many years, but he doesn't think she should have done that for him, because she could have said, well, you're my son, whatever it is, but you can drink your own poison. But she did that on his behalf. Today she's battling for her health.
Wow.
And one prophecy that she gave him, which would be that you will be a man of God. Thankfully today, Bernard is a man of God.
Wow.
And so he's like, if not for my mother, I wouldn't be here. There's another one too that's coming from Catherine that stood out so much because her mother did so many sacrifices for her and her other siblings. There were 5.
Okay.
The mother had to leave the marriage. A lot of things went on, but she went to the market, sold everything possible, from scratch cards, Tigo, MTN, to selling bread, everything. And today there are some people that she can hit her chest boldly to say that these are my children. So these are some of the messages that came through.
We also did have one that was very striking from a mother who was celebrating herself, Rebecca. She lives with a disability. She has children. And she takes care of her siblings. And when she wrote to us, she said, you know what, I'm going through so much this is what my daily life is like. And you know what living with a disability is like. And in Ghana, I mean, let's be honest. And she says, I want to celebrate myself. I want Citi FM to celebrate me because day in, day out, this is my struggle.
I have done a lot for myself.
Exactly.
And
I think about everybody else on a daily basis. I want to think about myself.
And she's young too. She's 35.
35. Wow. Yeah. So did we do an event today, a ceremony? Did we honor them? How many people did we honor?
Yeah, so it was a ceremony. So we had a short list of 10 people. We invited them to our premises. We hosted them in one of our television studios, and we just had a chat with them, gave them their prizes. All 10 of them got something. Don't forget that we're being sponsored by GTP. Also, Ntoma. You know what that means.
Timeless.
Means in our culture, especially for a mother, right? And then also Takura, made in Ghana brand. They do furniture, trinkets, handcrafted. And I mean, Takura is not cheap. And they also did very nice packages for our mothers. But beyond the physical material things, it was about celebrating them and engaging with them in that room and seeing the tears pour. It was emotional.
So did we have like a first prize winner who has to be given some special package?
We did. So beyond the 10, in that room, we announced the top 3, and they now joined us on Brunch in the City on radio, here on 97.3 Citi FM. So you have our top 3. Now they got more Ntoma. I mean, I think first got 5 full pieces, second got 3 full pieces, third got 2 full pieces, and then of course more things from Takura. But each of the top 3 also received an all-expense paid weekend stay at the African Regent.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Wow. Oh,
so after everything here, taking pictures, crying together, just walking through the memories and the stories and the episodes, then we went to present them to our partners at the African Regent Hotel.
That's beautiful. Thank you, ladies from the programs department. I wish we could talk more about this, but this is all time will allow. Thank you. It's not every day.
You just wish you could have us on the show more.
I know. You should
find a way.
For people who don't know, Apioko is my English teacher.
Oh my goodness.
When you mentioned the things that Takura provides, she said, "What tinkering? What's all this?"
Hey, Lord.
What is that? He said they do what?
I said they make handmade trinkets.
And what is trinket? Trinket is what?
Go and find out.
Oh, Apioko.
I'll direct you to the dictionary. That's how you do it.
Apioko Sierra Machon and Magdalene Wepia from the programs department here at 97.3 Citi FM and Channel 1 Television. We return with business news and Point Blank. Please stay with us.
Be there as it happens. The World Cup is coming, and this time you're not just watching it, you're living it. Match Experience Hospitality is giving you front row access to football's biggest stage in absolute style. Think VIP stadium seating, exclusive lounges, gourmet dining, and priority access. No stress, no hassle, just pure football luxury. This isn't just a ticket. This is the World Cup experience. With over a decade as an official FIFA sales agent, Match Experience Hospitality knows exactly how to turn a match into a lifetime memory. So upgrade your World Cup. Call 055-155-1119. Visit matchexphospitality.com or walk into any Absa Bank branch, our official banking partner today. Match Experience Hospitality. Don't just watch the game, live it. Match Experience Hospitality is doing this with Absa Bank as its official banking partner and Glyco as your official travel insurance partner.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.
Time now for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News. I am Melody Fafa, but to let's settle for the details now. The Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Isiama, has called for a decisive shift from policy design to full-scale implementation across Africa's financial sector. Speaking at the Future of Finance Dialogues as part of the 3i Africa Summit, he stressed that while innovation in finance depends heavily on data, regulation must strike a careful balance.
So how do we move from policy to execution? Across Africa, we do not lack ideas, and I made that point strongly yesterday. We do not lack the frameworks, nor do we lack the pilots. We have these in abundance. The harder question is how we move from controlled experimentation to scaled regulated deployment. Now, regulatory sandboxes have served a purpose, but they must become bridges to real market entry. The measure of a sandbox is not how many firms are admitted into it, but how many sound, well-governed institutions do graduate into productive participation in the regulated market. Development finance and private capital must support shared infrastructure, identity systems, payment rails, and data exchange protocols. And these public good characteristics demand investment models that benefit the ecosystem, not only individual firms.
You are the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Isiama. While still at the 3i Africa Summit, the second Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Matilda Santi Siedu, is advocating the need for robust digital infrastructure to sustain Africa's financial inclusion gains and unlock investment into the digital economy.
Imagine if we were developing technology without them. That means that we're only harnessing half the capacity of our population. And that's a great disservice to ourselves as a people and to the capacity of women. Because in Ghana today, anyone and everyone can send money from a phone with no internet connection, no smartphone, no app, no data plan, just a basic phone, a feature phone, and a USSD code. For millions of people, that model has done more for financial inclusion than any sophisticated solution. And if you take the World Bank Findex report, it says that Ghana is now at 81% of financial inclusion. And that is possible because of that USSD feature that enables people who ordinarily would have been exempt now to be able to transact digitally and financially. So why is that? It's because the system was built for the reality that we have, for the people who we serve, because the infrastructure also already existed.
That was the second Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Matilda Santi Isiedu. Now, the Chamber of Agribusiness Ghana wants government to adopt more sustainable measures to help curb the country's persistent food inflation pressures, despite a marginal slowdown recorded in April this year. Latest inflation figures released by the Ghana Statistical Service show that food inflation eased slightly from 2.3% in March to 2.2% in April. Speaking to Citi Business News, Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber, Anthony Morrison, stressed the need for long-term interventions to improving local food production, strengthening supply chains, and reducing post-harvest losses.
We need to bring in a more permanent and sustainable system in our delivery of the food systems that we want to achieve as a country. The discussion of food security and all that must be structured. No country today is talking about food security. We're talking about how we can get the food systems to work. And if we keep fixating on food security, we are going to miss the goalpost, in that the others that needs to work, like how we can add value, the commercialization. Government is talking about the agro-industrialization policies, the specialized economic enclave, the agro-parks. We need to work on how global changing will eventually affect our food system.
Anthony Morrison is the CEO of the Chamber of Agribusiness Ghana. Now, growing investor confidence in Ghana's economic recovery is expected to strengthen further as inflation is projected to hit between 5 and 6% by the end of 2026. The outlook comes despite a slight rise in inflation to 3.4% in April, the first uptick recorded in more than 15 months, raising cautious optimism about the country's macroeconomic stability. Speaking during a visit to Ghana, Group CEO of the Bank of Africa, Amin Boabid, said Ghana's economic fundamentals are showing strong signs of improvement, urging authorities to sustain the gains.
We have been very impressed by the macroeconomic environment. The country was in a big trouble a few years ago. Okay, now with the new government, with the new head of state figures, they are very positive improvements. Inflation has been curved down to 3%. Probably we finish this year at 5 to 6% inflation. The growth is there. The indebtedness is under control. The financial discipline has been set up by the local authorities. And I think now optimism is restored. Now we have to move forward and bring investors, bring DFI, make investment happen.
That was the group's Chief Executive Officer of the Bank of Africa, Amin Boabid. Now, government is seeking to sustain Ghana's trade surplus by prioritizing value addition across key sectors of the economy. This follows the country's record $13.6 billion trade surplus recorded in 2025. Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, Elizabeth Ofosue-Jare, says government's next phase of industrial transformation will focus on increasing local processing and manufacturing to boost export earnings. Speaking at the Transformation Dialogues co-hosted by the World Bank, African Center for Economic Transformation, and Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, ISE, the minister stressed the need for greater value addition to strengthen Ghana's trade position and sustain export growth.
Our export base remained heavily concentrated on raw commodities. Stability has been earned, and it forms the platforms from which we now build. But a record surplus is a moment to be proud of, not a destination to settle in. So we are not touting all these to say that we have arrived. We have just started, and we think it's a good start to build on. The work of generational prosperity is still ahead of us. That is the honest starting point for today's conversation, and it's precisely why rethinking trade must be our strategic priority. Ghana's trade transformation agenda under the leadership of Excellency John Dramani Mahama is fairly anchored in deliberate policy and decisive action. The President of the Republic has been clear that the old model of exporting raw materials or importing finished goods into our country belongs to our past, it's in our history. Our new objective is to add value.
Elizabeth Ofosue-Jare is Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry. Well, that's it for Citi Business News. On Eyewitness News, I am Melody Fafa, but to fair up next is Point Blank.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Momo. It has made life happen in lots of good ways.
Mr. Kwanzaa, Mensaka insurance claim no. That's it.
It has put together beautiful weddings. It has filled the bellies of boys at their favorite watchy joint.
My guy, stop. Who they chop cancel these days?
It has made millions of businesses possible.
Mensaka no. We are back in business.
With just a few taps, money moves faster, easier, and safer. Momo understands the weight of your trust in us. We continuously enhance security with features like self-paying reset to help you protect your money. Momo will only call you with 0244 300,000. No MTN or Momo staff will call or ask for your PIN or one-time password. Do not transfer funds to anyone whose identity you have not verified. Do not approve any prompts you have not initiated. Momo, still Munsaka.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Hello and welcome to Point Blank on Eyewitness News. I am Umaru Sandamadu. I advertised earlier on Eyewitness News a story having to do with NIA workers who were planning to go on a strike. So let me bring that for you. Workers of the National Identification Authority, NIA, are expected to embark on a strike from May 13 over delays in the approval and implementation of migration reports affecting staff conditions of service. According to the Public Service Workers Union, despite the approval of the scheme of service in July 2024 and the commencement of the migration process in December 2024, little progress has been made. The General Secretary of the Public Services Workers Union, PSW, Bernard Eje, has been speaking to Citi News.
The approval from Minister of Finance definitely it is needed for that process to continue, and that's where we are stuck now. So definitely today, as we speak, we have any document to show that the report has been approved, and therefore approval has been given for controller to services to work with controller to implement whatever has been agreed. I think that will be enough, and that's what the workers want. And so, having waited all this while, if the stakeholders are able to get that approval, because once the approval comes, then the next stage is like the implementation, and that shouldn't also be. But without the approval, controller cannot go ahead to implement the newly agreed structure for NIA. So that's what the workers want, and that's what they are asking: the approval and its implementation.
That's the General Secretary for the Public Services Workers Union, Bernard Eje, speaking on behalf of National Identification Authority, NIA. Workers. Let's go to Williams Ampoma Dallas. He's the head of corporate affairs at NIA. Mr. Dallas, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you so much, Umaru.
Has this come to your attention that your workers plan to embark on strike from next week, Wednesday?
Right. So good evening to you and to your listeners. Yes. So as management of the National Identification Authority, we have received a letter from the union indicating that if by 13th of May, the final approval is not given to their migration document, they will embark on an industrial action. And as management, we have acknowledged the letter. We have used our official communication channel to communicate to the staff that they should exercise some little patience for management, as management led by Mr. Wisdom Kwakudeku works so hard to ensure that the final approval is given to the migration document. We empathize with them. We agree with the concerns they have raised, and since Mr. Wisdom Kwakudeku and the new management took over, we have worked with the union to ensure that this we give this the maximum attention that is needed. We actually met this document at the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. We worked together with the union and Mr. Graham to ensure that we finalize the document. Now it's been moved from the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission to the Finance Ministry. And at the Finance Ministry, we were made to understand that there are levels of engagement before it gets to the minister's table. Now it has moved from where it was to the minister's table. And the minister has given us the assurance that in 2 weeks, he will append his signature to the document so that Controller and Accountant General can then commence the implementation. I just want to use this medium to speak directly to our staff and the union that at the heart of the Executive Secretary, Mr. Wisdom Kwakudeku, is a staff that are motivated, because he has always insisted that in every technological system, the weakest link is an unmotivated staff. And so with what we do, collecting data, storing data, and managing the data, it is incumbent on us as management to ensure that our staff are motivated so that we are able to better protect the data we collect, store, and manage for the good people of Ghana. And so that is what we are asking of the staff and the union, that they should give us 2 weeks, as the finance minister has communicated through the executive secretary to management, that in 2 weeks he will append his signature to the document so that we can implement it.
Okay, have you told this to them? Have they responded since this information about an impending strike came to the public attention?
Right. So, as the head of corporate affairs, as I said earlier, just this morning we received a letter yesterday in the evening. We were almost leaving office. So this morning we have responded to the letter, and we have issued a memo to our staff asking them to give us some time to get this done, because we know the implications of our staff going on an industrial strike. It doesn't only affect the National Identification Authority. It is something that is going to affect the entire nation with regards to even revenue collection and all that. So we do not want to get there. And so since we received the letter, we have been engaging them to ensure that they do not carry on with the intended industrial strike. And as I said, the latest communication to us is that in 2 weeks we will get this done and dusted, so that what is due our staff will be given to them.
Okay, we wish you all the best, and we will pray that by Wednesday you wouldn't have problem. But otherwise, how is the NHIA doing? Everything fine?
Sure. For the National Identification Authority, we have started registration of children aged 6 to 14 in the Volta and OT regions. And we started on the 5th of May. So we are still registering our children. This time around, we are ensuring that we do instant issuance. We are learning from the story of history. In 2024, when the authority started, there were hitches. And so we couldn't issue the cards instantly. When we went back in 2025 to issue the cards, we noticed some of the children had changed schools, some had relocated and all that. So we couldn't issue all the over 360,000 cards that we printed. And so learning from that, we are printing the cards for them in the various schools in Uti and Volta region instantly, so that we won't have to waste resources and financial resources and human resources to go back in a month or 2 time in the name of issuing. So this is what we are doing, and we are also putting in place measures to kickstart the registration of children between the ages of 0 to 5. That one, we don't issue cards to them. We just give them pins and tie their pins to their mothers or relatives, so that when they are 6 years, we register, capture them, and then issue them smart cards. So basically, this is what we are doing at the National Identification Authority, and it's been so good until the notice of industrial strike, which we are working really hard to ensure it is averted.
Very well. We wish you all the best. Thank you so much. But just a bit, so you are just doing for 2 regions. Is it a pilot thing you're doing with the under? Is it under 15 or under 5?
Yes, under 15. That is 6 to 14. Yes. So we are piloting in this region. When we are done, we are most likely to move to the northern region to start there. We will do Upper East and Northeast, and then Savannah and Upper West. Then we come down to South to continue.
All right. Thank you. Wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
That's Williams Ampoma Dallas. He's head of corporate affairs at the National Identification Authority, NIA. Let's talk about other things now. The Minister for Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, has urged African policymakers to treat financial integration as a core macroeconomic stability strategy, warning that fragmented systems leave the continent exposed to global shocks. He was speaking at the 3i African Summit here in Accra.
All our governors who are gathered here seeking to reverse this trend and to create a different narrative for the world's youngest continent. Distinguished participants, Africa is a continent of immense potential. The continent possesses 30% of the Earth's mineral resources, including rare earth and critical minerals. Africa has 60% of the world's arable lands. By 2050, more than a quarter of humanity and 1/3 of the world's young people would identify as African. And with a population of 1.4 billion people and an economy of more than $3.5 trillion, Africa has almost all the foundations it requires to be an economically strong and vibrant economic space. The gaps, however, between Africa's potential and reality, as well as between its aspirations, are actions. They are deliberate policies that we as leaders must pursue. As Africans and people in leadership, we must rise to our duty and adapt our countries to the dynamic and profound transformation that is presently taking place globally. It is evident to every keen observer that the global economy is undergoing rapid and far-reaching changes. Technological innovation is reshaping work and how we resolve societal problems. Evolving financial systems are simultaneously creating new value and hardening financial access for developing countries. And shifting geopolitical dynamics are disrupting energy markets, supply chains, and financial markets. These forces of change are reshaping global trade, redefining capital flows, and creating new global economic influence that presents for Africa both opportunities and challenges. How Africa responds is critical, and it must necessarily and strategically anchor on the deepening of our regional integration initiatives that strengthen continental financial systems and repositions the continent as a competitive destination for investment, innovation, financial intermediation, and trade, leveraging the tools of diplomacy. Your Excellencies, regional integration remains central to Africa's long-term growth and development. We can no longer accept an African market that is fragmented and whose productive centers are not connected. 15% of intra-African trade has always been significantly lower than those of other regions and is inadequate to grow the economies of Africa into prosperity. And we must, as Africans, really confront this challenge. We must increase belief in ourselves. We must believe in made in Africa. And we must begin to have more compassion for each other. And I feel strongly about this point, particularly at this time that we are seeing another round of xenophobia rear its ugly head. We cannot be talking about trading amongst ourselves, integrating, when we are not welcoming of each other, when we believe that other Africans pose a threat to us when they come to do business in our countries. If it is the case that some guests are not following domestic laws, let law enforcement deal with them. Don't take the law into your own hands. Don't declare fellow Africans unwanted in your country. Don't be hostile to them. Don't dehumanize them. Don't assault them. Don't attack them. We cannot build that integrated Africa that our founding fathers dreamt of if we do not increase love, compassion for each other. We cannot achieve it. And my brothers and sisters, let's consider the recent development. So Russia invaded Ukraine 4 years ago. The UNHCR reports that about 10 million Ukrainians were displaced. 5.3 million Ukrainians had to flee Ukraine. Have you seen any Ukrainian refugee camp anywhere? All these Ukrainians were accepted by fellow Europeans. Most of them in Germany, in Poland, in Czech. They were not only accepted and taken in, brought home. Their governments, European governments, came up with what they call special integration policies, where they expedited their integration into their countries so they can immediately qualify for job placements, for social security. They accepted their own. You will not find until this day, 4 years into that war, any Ukrainian refugee camp anywhere in the world. They have been welcomed, integrated, and fully assimilated. The US and Canada actually designed special visas for Ukrainians fleeing the war. What are we doing in Africa? We are saying Ghana must go, Nigeria must go. Go to where? Is this not our continent? Are we not one people? Are we not family? And after you've driven out all those Africans from your country, are you sure that crime rate will be zero? Are you sure that the unemployment crisis in your country will immediately vanish?
Very thought-provoking questions being asked there by our Foreign Affairs Minister, the Honorable Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, in relation to the xenophobic attacks from South Africa. Well, he was speaking at the 3i Africa Summit. And that's by way of Eyewitness News for this week. It came to you from our studios in Accra. I am Umaru Sanda Amado. Tonight I did a show with Fafa Melody Kpotufe, produced by Juliana Odami Asari, Beverly London, Kobina Wilson, Fred Tete Jabano, and Sami Wiafi. The technical support from Emmanuel Lati, Edwin Kwakofi, and the new media team supported us online. We'll be back on Monday at 17:30 GMT with Eyewitness News. Now, if you want more news and current affairs, tonight at 8 p.m. on Channel 1 Television, I'll be bringing you CNR, that's Channel 1 Newsroom. And then at 9 a.m. tomorrow on Channel 1 TV and Citi FM, I'll be bringing you The Big Issue, where we bring the big stories of the week and put them on the table and bring brilliant minds around the table to discuss them. So you want to stay tuned in and join us for that. Up next, though, I'm leaving in the hands of the Citi FM sports crew as they bring you Sports Panorama. Sports Panorama is live every Friday night after Eyewitness News. There was Baby Jet today, and I think there's a Mama Jet also tonight, or Papa Jet tonight. I'll be leaving in the hands of Gabi Milito of the Citi Sports Desk to bring you Sports Panorama. Have a great weekend. See you on Monday, inshallah. Bye-bye.
Citi News. We speak first. Reach our hotline on 03.